What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here with the skeleton crew. Tonight we got Snyder and Kurt. Kurt's also taking this vid from like a friend's house or something. Look at those windows. There's no doubt in my mind that that house has vaulted ceilings as well. That's just look. I mean, look at how expensive those windows are. Snyder.
Beautiful.
That's just classic. Typical.
That's nice.
Also, apologies for being a few minutes late. I blame myself. I was doing my hair. As you can tell, I mean, it was part of the reason why we're late for this show. Spent a long time on the hairdo today. I hope it goes noticed. Snyder, I will say we have another new addition to the back wall. It feels like every week we get new additions. Something to your right. I think it says The Quest. Did I read that properly?
Correct. It says
Sick.
The Quest Firethorn Golf Club.
So what we have is every week Snyder has something new on the wall, and I'm somewhere else in this world.
Yeah, and I'm the same old person, just with different hairstyles. I mean, I'm just trying to stay with the whole vibe of the show, you know. Magnani, always love you popping in.
Magnani?
Yeah, so obviously the show will be a quick one. Uncle T wanted to join, but obviously with the show being moved up a day, it kind of got his schedule conflicted. And Mangone with the schedule moving up a day, we know. I mean, Mangone's just as busy as like Donald Trump. So I mean, you change the show up a day or a few hours, not a chance he makes the show. So yeah, going with a skeleton crew today, but doesn't mean there won't be valid content. The show will just be shorter than normal. So maybe you'll enjoy it more or less. I don't really care. But either way, the content's always juicy here. Snyder, we are at the PGA Farmers Insurance. Do you want to just run down a bit of the course and maybe any other tidbits you have? Looks like Jon Rahm, as they like to call him in the streets, is the favorite here, which has brought up some interesting controversy as somebody who hasn't been winning a whole lot recently. Needless to say, walk us through this course.
Yeah, for sure. We're at Torrey Pines here. It's one of the most well-known tracks on tour. Some big names going to be in the field, like you mentioned. We've got Rahm, we've got Xander, we've got Finau, we've got Morikawa, we've got Justin Thomas, some big names here. So it's going to be fun to jump into this course here. They're going to play two different courses the first 2 days. And as to note, this will be starting on Wednesday, which is different because CBS has prior commitments to both the NFL and the PGA Tour. And this event used to take place in the bye week of the Super Bowl on Pro Bowl weekend, actually. So they had to move this up 1 day so they could cover both sporting events. So Wednesday is the start for this event. The North Course is going to play much easier here, probably about 3 strokes easier over the last 2 years. It's played right around 3 strokes easier. So you're going to want to especially target the North Course for a showdown and stuff. Shorter course is about 500 yards shorter than the South Course. South Course was recently renovated for the U.S. Open back then. Now it plays as the longest track on tour at 7,765 yards. It's going to have 7 par 4s of 450 plus, and all 4 par 5s are going to be over 560 yards here. The greens are going to be POA here. Going to be rolling at around 11.5 on the stip meter, and this is that POA grass that you want to get to these greens as early as possible because these greens will grow throughout the day and get more bumpy, as we've seen a lot of shorter missed putts here because the POA gets a little bumpier as the day goes on, as it starts to grow. The Kikuya grass rough here looks to be very thick this weekend. They've had a ton of rain out in California so far this year, so it's going to be playing thicker and tougher than it usually is. So I'm going to put an importance on driving distance and finding fairways here. So looking at that. Some other key stats I'll be looking at here: strokes gain approach, strokes gain off the tee with an emphasis on distance, long iron play, and around the green play.
Now, when you start saying 11.5 off the stint meter, man, I don't know about you, Kurt, but it's like you just feel the blood flowing in areas that like it's not supposed to flow in. No, but good stuff as always, Snyder. I will ask you this before the show, and obviously some users may already know, or some people may already know or not, but wow. Jon Rahm is a big favorite here.
Yeah, I think he's right around 4 to 5 to 1, somewhere around there.
Now, I do like to refer to him as Jon Rahm when I see these types of tournaments, because is this just going to be a full-blown hardwood Ram show in general from him? I mean, you don't see this often where, your single isolated golfer is literally double the odds of the second place, odds to win the tournament. Obviously, chalk like this doesn't happen often. Is this like, I don't want to say it free money at 4.5 or 5 to 1, but is it hard to fathom him not at least being live day 4?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be there on Sunday. I think he just is that guy that has the elite course history here, and then he has the elite recent form. He's going to be looking to bag himself a turkey here and get 3 in a row to open the year. So it's going to be interesting to see if people are going to fade him in DFS and in the betting markets. I've actually got a matchup. I like him more so, a 3-ball more so to target Rahm in the betting markets. There, I didn't have it listed on the show, but I'll give it right now. A 3-ball Jon Rahm minus. I'll call him Ram for you. Ram minus 125 versus Xander and Tony Finau. So I think that's about the best way to target Rahm this week. Minus 125 versus Xander and Finau. I like that quite a bit.
That's interesting. I do like that call because again, if you're just looking for, I guess we can call it intrinsic. I always have an issue pronouncing that, but intrinsic value. That to me makes sense, especially if you're not looking. The 4.5 to 1 is great and all, but the idea that he just needs to perform better than 2 of the other golfers that have a shot to win this tournament, I do think makes a lot of sense. In relation to DFS, Kurt, you've been awfully quiet. Will Clitoris, who do we like in the DFS streets this week?
It's going to lead us right into my guy, Willie Zalatoris. Big Will. What did you call him last year, Snyder? Was it Billy or Big Bill? Bill Z? What did you call him?
Bill. Possibly Bill Z. I don't know. Maybe something like that.
No, was it you?
We were calling him Bill.
It might have been Dunkel, yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely calling him Bill. Bill
Z.
Z.
Okay, so Bill, long irons here, runner up. I don't know. I got him I was way overweight when he had the win last year. It just feels like not as much as that, but man, I'm getting that feeling again for Big Willie. So I'm gonna go him up top, sub 7. Sub 10K. I like the price for value. I'm gonna go Patrick Rogers, Stanford kid. I've met him, no big deal. We're best friends. I text him all the time. Instagram, you can see the picture with him. Me and him are homies, no big deal. Good on POA, good around the green. What he doesn't have in his approach game, which in this field, it's obviously your approach numbers aren't going to look that great compared to some of these goats, but he makes up for it in his around the green game, especially last year. It was awesome. So give me Patrick Rogers for my value.
Love it. Snyder, on your end, DFS. Now, before you even talk on this, and I know we've already talked enough about Jon Rahm, but obviously a big favorite like this deserves a little extra discussion on a show like this. It is, as far as DFS goes, is he like a, dare I say, lock? As far as like for instance, at his price, where does he have to get to make you if he gets top 3, does he still end up in the optimal? Or does he
I have a hard time not seeing Rahm getting to the optimal. They finally priced him up. Last week he was severely underpriced at only 10.8, and they finally priced him up a little bit this week, but I still think he's underpriced here at 11.6. He's probably going to see around 35% ownership, I think, and people are going to make a big a deal about that. Is he too Is he too owned, or is he not? But 65% of the field could be drawn dead before it even starts. So if you make that fade, so that's interesting, something to note and make. It's a big decision point on this week too.
And so let me ask you this in regards to DFS: is he somebody you're going to be overweight on, especially knowing that he's going to be 35-40% or underweight?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try as hard as I can to get overweight on him. I'll probably have him somewhere around 70%, I think, this week. That'll get me enough leverage, I think, on the field. And it'll still, if he doesn't say hit the optimal, I still got 30% of live equity out there. So I'm probably going to go somewhere around 70%. Like I did last week, I was super overweight on him last week. He wasn't as owned last week. I think he was only around 25-30%, but I definitely like him this week. But a guy I like for tournaments here is, I'm going to go right back to my guy, Colin Morikawa here at 10K. Yeah, he let us down last week, or last event there, blowing that huge lead. He was under 10% that week. He's got great course history here too. He finished 4th here in the U.S. Open and 21st, I believe, in his first other appearance here. So he's got good course history. The dude's actually making putts this year. The irons are dialed in. He's going to find a ton of fairways off the tee here, and he's got some of the best long iron game on tour. So I think he's going to go overlooked here, and people are going to see him in contention again on Sunday and being like, what's going on? He's under 10%, but I like that spot for tournaments.
Fair.
And then for a value play, I'm going to go I'm gonna go with one of my soldiers here, and Ben Griffin. He's a young gun. He can pump it out 300 plus off the tee. Rebounded great last week after struggling in round one. Closed out his round 67, 64, 67. Ended up getting 32nd. I mean, he was pretty much left for dead after round one. I think he was like 120th or something after round one. Battled back strong, so I really like it. He's a great ball striker, and the putter's been hot for him too, so I really like that.
Good stuff. And Nate, I see that, you went 6 to midnight looking at Kurt. I mean, and then you go flaccid looking at me. I can't express it enough. Like, I spent hours doing my hair for this show. It hurts my feelings to find out that, it's not working for you, Nate. So it is what it is, but we'll come back stronger next week with a different hairstyle, and maybe that'll float your boat. Adam had a question. Is everybody playing one course tomorrow, or both courses being played tomorrow?
Yeah, they'll be playing both courses. Half the field will play the north one day, and the other half will play the south course, and then they'll flip-flop the next day.
Nate, settle the fuck down, please. Thank you very much. Or as the cool kids say, TYVM. Let's move over to outrights. Snyder, we'll stick with you here, as we often do with the laddering back and forth, or snaking back and forth, if you will. Who do you like to win this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, aside from Jon Rahm, who I think is definitely going to be there, I'm going to go with Taylor Montgomery. He's a guy I've been high on since last fall, coming off the Korn Ferry Tour. He's got elite recent form heading into this too. I mean, the dude has just been like a top 15, top 10 upside dude all this time around. Hit 85% of his greens regulation last week while finding 73% of the fairways. So I think Taylor Montgomery is a little underpriced here in the betting markets at 28-1. I really like his upside, and I think a win is coming here really soon for Mr. Montgomery.
Fair enough. As far as wind advantages from Adam, early tee shots, late, like where's more or less wind for this?
There looks to be like a wind advantage on the second day, but I mean they're only teeing off. They're starting tee off at 9 a.m. and the last tee time is 11, so it's a really small gap. There's not the huge waves that we usually see, but I think there's definitely definitely a lot of strategy involved that we will be covering in the playbook and in Discord. So hit the premium side there for all of your wind and wave advantages there that we're gonna deep dive into in the Discord and in the playbook and everything.
Love it. And don't be shy, folks. You're allowed to like the video if you'd like, or not like. Either way, even if you don't like the video, you can like the video, you jerk offs. Also, Nate, when's the next Zumba class? That will be tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. I will see you there sharp. Curtis, as some like to call you. I know you do like that name. Outright.
Had to mute myself. Okay. So outright's going to be Max Homa, another California kid. Doesn't have great history here, but I mean, this is the best Max Homa we've seen. So come back home. I think he's going to do great. Good with long irons, just like Willie Z. Good, solid off the tee. I think it's going to be his best performance here to date. Max Homa, 22-1, I believe.
Okay.
And if you haven't used your boost on DK, you can get 24-1.
We're a fan of Maxie on the show. And Dennis, yeah, I mean, Sad Puppy Deuce, fine. We're going to change it up on a weekly basis, and this week landed on the terribly sad Puppy Doo. Kurt, on your end, long shot. What do we like?
I don't like to get too long here because usually historically the winners are kind of lowish, but I'm going to go Taylor Pendrith, crushes the ball off the tee. Just please don't lose me like a million strokes putting or in your short game, buddy. Please, I'm begging you. I mean, hopefully the POA helps him a little bit. 60-1 Taylor Pendrith.
Love it. A golfer, I know who that is. Like, this has been good so far. We've been doing well. Snyder, who's your long shot?
I'm going to go with a guy over 100-1 odds. I'm going to go with Ryan Palmer at 130-1. Great recent form here. Course history here. I think he's a guy that can pump the ball out off the tee pretty long for his age there. He's kind of getting up there in age, but he played really good over the weekend at the Sony Open, and this is one of those tracks where he actually plays some of his best golf at. So I like Ryan Palmer here as a long shot at 130-1.
That's a good point. 5-star that, yeah, we would have expected Kurt to take his boy Kitayama. And Snyder, on your end, Ryan Palmer, like, obviously I don't follow him enough, but feels like that is really high, especially if you're saying he's got decent form coming in, or at least in this course. Steve Alley would have told us about the wind. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the type of analysis that she brings to the table that, we just can't compete with over here. In Thought you were going D. In relation to where we at now? So T20s. Snyder, T20. Who do we like?
Yeah, Ryan Palmer isn't on the senior tour yet, but that's coming here within a few years probably. He's going to ship this event for us first. But T20s, I'm going to go with my guy Mav McNeely at plus 160. Cali kid. He's one of the best POA guys putting wise. I love targeting him on this West Coast swing. That used to be the only time I would target Mav was on this West Coast swing. And last year he developed a full around game. So I really like Mav to I think he could even contend for a win here. So I definitely love the plus 160 on the top 20.
Fair enough. Kurt, what about you for a T20?
I don't like to go back-to-back same guy, but I mean, Thomas Dietrich again, guys. He cashed for us last week. I gave him out. I'm going to keep freaking giving him. It's, I think, 3 of the last 4 of the last 5 PGA events, he's top 20'd. The kid is good. It's a decent course fit. It's still plus 370. I don't know why you don't just keep betting this until we lose it. I mean, the kid's good at golf. I'm sorry. I don't know why, like the markets and the DFS, everyone just keeps underrating the guy, and I'll just keep making money off of it.
Ride the wave. I fucks with it. Last but not least, Kurt, do you have a matchup you like or a golfer you're fading or
Man, you all know what I got to do. I pull up the matchup. First thing I saw was my boy Kurt Kitayama. Meow! Over Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler actually is good on long tracks, but Kitayama crushes the ball. Hoping he can just keep it closest with the strokes gained putting with Ricky Fowler. So I'm going Kurt Kitayama. I think it was minus 115 or minus 25. It was almost a pick 'em. They're taking a little bit of juice.
Just trying to confirm how to spell Kitayama.
I spelled wrong. I spelled it Kityama, and I don't think that's correct.
Kitayama. 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 So Kitayama over who?
Ricky Fowler.
Fowler.
Love targeting Mr. Fowler, Mr.
Fair
Flower.
Snyder, how about you? You got a matchup you like?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a value guy that I've been on here recently. I'm going to go with Robbie Shelton, plus 105 against Mr. Ham, Wyndham Clark. Robbie Shelton's got pretty good history here. He's made both his cuts here. He bounced back. He did miss the cut at the Sony, but he bounced back huge last week, gained over 5 strokes approach last week, hit 80% of his green to regulation last week. So I really like Robbie Shelton at this track versus Mr. Ham, Wyndham Clark.
Good stuff. Nada, it looks like you appreciate the effort Kurt's put in. Snyder, obviously,
road dog.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kurt can perform at home and on the road. It's actually pretty impressive. Snyder just keeps adding more plaques and shit behind him, which is fantastic. Yeah, Nate, you're right. I mean, I'm gonna have to try to come back with something a little different next week. Maybe I'll dye my hair pink or blue. Change things up a bit. Maybe I'll wear the white hat. Who knows? But needless to say, any final notes, Kurt, you in relation to the course, anything going on this weekend, anything personal you want to discuss? Feel free to use this as, a therapy session. Anything you want to get off your chest?
No, I'm excited to get it going. I kind of I want, as far as for showdowns go, I'm tired of these, not having shot tracker for every course. So I'm very excited next week. I'm hoping Snyder, I don't look ahead too far. We get an event where it's one course, shot trackers there. It's a round cut after 36. No bullshit. I'm just ready for that. But doesn't mean I'm still not excited for this event. It's a pretty solid event. So let's have a great week, everyone. Let's crush and come back and check out the showdown content because there will be an edge.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough there. Now, Snyder, on your end, any final notes? And how about the soldiers again? They're back every week. You love
the
to see
soldiers
it.
are up on Twitter. Go to my Twitter, hit the like and retweet. Really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to this event. I think we're going to have a pretty good advantage here. 4-day with a possible wind advantage, and then we're going to have 2 really good showdown advantage days. So head on over to runpuresports.com, join the movement, use promo code Snyder15 for 15% off. And that also includes SaberSim. SaberSim actually just pushed a huge update for NBA. You can have a huge advantage with the late swap there. They just added some new stuff for their late swap, so that's going to be huge for all sports that have late swap possibilities. So head on over Snyder15 for that 15% off. I really appreciate if you use that. And Yeah, just looking forward to everything. We're going to have everything finalized on the site here, most likely tonight for this early start here on Wednesday. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously check us out, runpuresports.com, to see what we're all about. It's all sports, all content, all for one price. Obviously not mixing up sport by sport. And obviously, of course, you get your optimizer too, which is great for golf, especially with how detailed the playbooks are on a consistent level. The whole crew does such a great job between AP, Big T, obviously Mangone, who couldn't make it to this show because if you move up a show time 10 minutes, he's unavailable. But needless to say, we're excited. Hopefully Uncle T's going to be back next week. Mangone should be back. Should be a full crew. It'll be great, and it should be on the normal day as well. So regardless, I hope all of you gamble responsibly, stay safe. Nate, thanks for popping in the chat. Obviously keeping things lively. Magnani as well. So Steve, real quick, for who did Mangone pick? I'm going to be honest. I don't give a shit who Mangone picked because his schedule does not allow him to change any type of time in relation to any golf shows that we do. So, but regardless, I'm sure if you are in the Discord, you can easily find out exactly who Mangone picked because you can just DM him. He loves getting DMs from people. He actually was bragging to me today about how he hopes he gets like 100 or 150 DMs today of questions. So feel free to fire away in his DMs with golf
He
questions.
loves the DMs on both Twitter and Discord. Just fill his inbox up.
Yeah, just go ahead and pound that inbox for him. Kurt, I'm fading all 10. Hey, look, love it. But yes,
That's ballsy. That's a Kurt type play.
We will wrap it up again. Head over on puresports.com to see what we're all about with all content, all sports. But yes, gamble responsibly, stay safe. As always, folks, run pure. Catch you guys next week.